What's good with y'all boys and girls? It's your boy TWEEZY. This shit is too easy, man. We got a Halloween special for today, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and follow my socials. The origins of Halloween. Let's get into it.
Halloween is the festival of all things supernatural, but beneath the spiced lattes and fancy costumes lies a much more ancient festival. Although it began as the Christian feast of All Hallows Eve, many believe that Halloween's true origin can be traced back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, a pagan holiday where the boundary between this world and the next was supposed to be at its thinnest. In this video, I want to explore the origin of Halloween and uncover the lost history behind.
I do feel like it's like an eerie part of Halloween to the point where like it make you think spirits are real, bro. Low key it do, bro.
The world's most frightening festival. Halloween takes its name from All Hallows Eve, hallow being an Old English word for saint. So All Hallows Eve was the night before one of the most important events in the Christian calendar. All Hallows Day has been celebrated since at least the 4th century AD, when early Christians decided to dedicate specific days to honor the Christian saints. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that they're
So Halloween has to do with Christianity too, bro? Is that what y'all trying to tell me? Halloween has to do with Christianity, bro?
physical remains were often preserved in relics, from the incorruptible jaw of St. Anthony to the skull of Mary Magdalene. But by the medieval era,
Wells Fargo has donated roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, helping them overcome challenges and create jobs within their community. Doing gets it done.
there were literally
I mean, if that's true, that's wild, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
thousands of saints, far too many to have their own day each. So, in the 8th century, Pope Gregory III dedicated the first day of November to honor them all. All Hallows Day was, and still is, a major day of celebration, where the Christian faithful would go to their nearest church and commemorate the relics of their local saint, often by placing flowers by their altar and praying for their holy intercession. But the festivities were not contained to a single day. You see, All Hallows Day was followed directly by All Souls Day. This event commemorated the lives of ordinary people, but particularly those unfortunate souls who were trapped in purgatory, a middle realm between heaven and hell. During All Souls Day, churches would
A middle realm between heaven and hell. Purgatory. That kind of sound like Earth. That kind of sound like Earth.
accept prayers and donations that would help speed the journey of the souls to heaven. Alms and charity were then given to the poor, who would go from house to house asking for donations and food. For every gift given to the poor, a soul was said to pass on into heaven. Together, All Hallows Day and All Souls Day made up a wider festival known as All Hallowtide, an annual celebration to remember the dead. Now, historically, this is actually one of the most important Christian holidays, up there with Easter and Christmas, but nowadays it has often been overshadowed with what happens the night before Halloween. So, what was the first Halloween actually like? Well, early church chronicles describe All Hallows Eve being celebrated late at night. Churches would be illuminated with candles, and the liturgy would be sung in Latin, with the heavy scent of incense that would fill the air. Some say
So they trying to conjure up spirits? Are you telling me the church was conjuring up spirits? Are you kidding me?
that All Hallows Eve focused on the fate of the wicked, from those who perished in Noah's flood to those who defied God at the Tower of Babel. To illustrate these teachings, the walls of medieval churches were often decorated with paintings of souls believed to have been sent to hell. It is there where they'd suffer eternal damnation, engulfed by the fiery mouth of the devil. But how did this rather obscure Christian observance shift into the festival we know today, a time of carved pumpkins, costumed demons, and trick-or-treating? Well, many believe that Halloween's true origins lie much earlier than the Christian feast of All Hallows. In fact, it may predate Christianity itself. Throughout history, Christianity has often adapted local customs. Just like Christmas may have absorbed elements of Saturnalia, the same is true for the Feast of All Hallows and the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. In pre-Christian Celtic mythology, Samhain is the festival to mark the start of winter. It always took place near the end of autumn, when the last light of summer faded and the darker half of the year began. According to folklore, this transitional time was when the boundary between our world and the other world was at its thinnest, allowing for the spirits to cross over. Our best records
I believe spirits are real, but I don't believe ghosts are real. I believe spirits are real, but I don't believe ghosts are real. I think spirits are like can be evil or good, but I don't think all that poltergeist stuff. I don't think that shit real, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
of Samhain come from Ireland, where many pre-Christian practices survived long enough to be written down. During Samhain, spirits known as the Eshi were said to roam through the land, often in a ghostly procession. Their entry point into this world was said to be at the many burial mounds scattered across Ireland today. Places like the Hill of Tara, which acted as doorways between this world and the next. But not all of the Eshi are benevolent. Among them are frightening beings, like the Puka, a shape-shifting creature that often took the form of a dark horse. It was said to mimic human speech to lure unwary travelers to their deaths. But during Samhain, no creature was more feared than the Banshee, a spectre that took the form of an old woman and stalked the forests. If she approaches, the Banshee lets out a blood-curdling scream, a cry so haunting that it was said to be an omen of death. During this time of heightened spiritual activity, ordinary people had to be on guard. Many would build giant bonfires to light up their villages and carve lanterns with frightening faces to scare away malevolent beings. Samhain was
Come on, let's be honest. A pumpkin carved is not scaring away nothing, bro. Let's be honest, bro. Like people was on that shit. I'm telling you, fool. Like this, how you know when somebody was on that shit, man.
also a
them
time
drugs,
of
bro.
ritual. A popular custom on this night was divination, the art of trying to predict the future. According to some traditions, unmarried men would try to take a bite from an apple floating in a bucket of water. The first to succeed was believed to be the next to marry. You may have noticed that many Samhain traditions resemble those of Halloween. Both are autumn festivals rooted in the supernatural, and they seem to share a number of customs. This has led many to believe that Halloween has adopted elements of this pagan festival, perhaps in an effort to replace it. There may be some truth to this idea, but as always, it's not that simple. Halloween is not some sort of pagan festival with a Christian bumper sticker, but instead, Samhain is just one of the many influences that shaped the folk traditions surrounding Halloween. So let's explore some of them. Where do these Halloween traditions really come from? Halloween is scary, but the news doesn't need to be. That's why I use Ground News. It's a media aggregator that lets you see how outlets. As we've seen, the original Christian celebration of All Hallows Eve was a quiet and somber affair, a late-night church mass with prayers commemorating the dead. Yet today, Halloween is one of the biggest events on the calendar, with parades, parties, and trick-or-treating. But where exactly did these Halloween traditions actually come from? I've gathered 3 of Halloween's most iconic symbols, so let's explore their lost origins, starting with one of the most popular images of all, the carved pumpkin. Every autumn, houses and front lawns are decorated with these ghoulish faces. Some are cute, others are scary, and then there's this. It's one of the most famous symbols of the holiday. But where does it come from? Well, the earliest carved lanterns don't start with pumpkins, but instead were made from turnips. Across our
Turnips? I don't think nobody I don't think we need to be celebrating Halloween the way we celebrate it, if that makes sense. I think we celebrate more of the evil stuff in America, and we don't need to be celebrating the evil parts of Halloween, bro. That is so stupid. It really is stupid. But I'm still gonna put on my Michael Myers costume, bro. Still gonna put that, even though I know that shit is so stupid, bro. Like, I like Michael Myers, bro. I had to celebrate my Michael Myers, bro. It's crazy, ain't it?
Ireland and Britain, lights were placed in carved turnips and were given frightening faces to scare away evil spirits. And judging by what they may have originally looked like, these turnips were, well, horrifying. While the original jack-o'-lanterns were made from turnips, Irish immigrants to the Americas began using pumpkins, a crop of the new.
That just made me think of being outside the box and use a turnip. That's something I'm about to like change the game. You know what I'm saying? They be like, you got a pumpkin? No, it's not a pumpkin. It's a turnip, bro. This is what they used to use back in the day. Y'all changed it to pumpkins, bro. I'm going to the roots of this shit. You feel me?
World. You see, pumpkins were larger, easier to carve, and their orange hue gave the lanterns a warm, glowing light. And that's led us to today, where the pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns have become Halloween's most iconic symbol. Of all the ways to celebrate Halloween, one of the most popular has to be going out trick-or-treating. This usually involves knocking on people's doors and receiving a bag of sweet treats. Today, we tend to focus on the treat part, but people often forget the trick. Now, strictly speaking, if no sweets are given, this gives children license to.
I think the trick or treat, like, period. I don't know. I don't care what he's about to say. I'm just gonna give my honest opinion. The trick part is to trick you to do Halloween. They tricking you, bro. You ain't supposed to be doing that evil shit, bro. I know we not, bro. Like, dressing up and then like letting spirits, like, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Like, if you really look at Halloween as a whole, you can tell it's just some evil shit. We just don't know exactly what it is, like what it's actually doing to people or to the world or energy, whatever, aura or whatever.
Trick the household to cause mischief and mayhem, often at the expense of the unfortunate resident. The origin of trick-or-treating can actually be traced back to Christianity, specifically All Souls' Day. I briefly hinted to this earlier, but on this day it was common for people to go door to door and ask for alms and charity. This was a practice known as souling. This practice was once common and is even referenced in one of Shakespeare's plays. Wealthy patrons would bake soul cakes and distribute them to the poor. During my research, I actually found a recipe dating back to this time. The original soul cakes were simple, made with flour and butter, but sometimes with sugar, nutmeg, or dried fruits. It seems that this tradition of souling became the basis for trick-or-treating, as children went from door to door asking for donations. Okay, so that's the treat part. But what about the trick? In medieval England, there was an.
I know it's some weirdos poisoning people left or right, trick or treating back in these days, bro. You just know it just like this weird old white guy putting poison in cookies and shit, and these kids was eating it and dying. They was like, "What the hell is going on? We not celebrating Halloween no more. What the hell?"
Informal holiday known as Mischief Night, an evening when young people would go out and cause trouble, usually through minor acts of playful vandalism, if such a thing exists. Originally, Mischief Night was not connected to Halloween at all. In fact, some records place it in May. Exactly how both trick and treat came together is unclear. The name itself is only about a century old. The earliest mention of trick-or-treating comes from Canada and soon spread south into the United States from the 1940s. By then, the original Christian idea of rescuing souls through cakes had largely faded away, but asking for sweet treats certainly did not.
With Google Play Games, you
Wow,
can play
so
unlocked.
Going to door to door, the going to door to door thing, asking for like sweets and shit was from Canada, not US. Ain't that weird?
Halloween would not be complete without our third tradition, costumes. Every year, people dress up in a range of outfits, and some of them are downright terrifying. But why do people dress up as monsters on what's meant to be a Christian holiday? One suggestion comes from Celtic folklore. During Samhain, it was believed that spirits would roam the earth, so dressing up in disguises allowed people to walk among them unnoticed. But there's another explanation. During the Middle Ages, feast days and celebrations often featured mummers' plays, performers who dressed in fantastical costumes and acted out in taverns and streets. This was a popular tradition during All Souls' Day, where knights would slay dragons for the amusement of children. Not all costumes were cheerful though. In Wales, there is something known as the Mari Lwyd, a horse's skull draped in a white sheet and carried through towns in an eerie procession. While you see these at Christmas time, you can sometimes spot them during Halloween. Regardless, thank you Wales, never change. It seems to me that these disparate traditions came together in the Christian festival of All Hallowtide. During this autumnal period, different groups celebrated in different unique ways, and over time, these customs blended together, often through immigration to the Americas. Like Frankenstein's monster, Halloween is a patchwork of various traditions stitched into one. So far, I've largely focused on Halloween traditions from the Anglo-Celtic world, and for good reason. Waves of settlers brought their folk traditions with them, shaping how Halloween is celebrated in North America today. But, of course, All Hallows is celebrated throughout the world, and many countries still preserve traditional Christian practices. In Portugal and the Philippines, both have traditions that resemble souling, where bread is shared and songs are sung in order to honour the dead. Now, I'd love to know, what are some lesser known Halloween traditions in your country? Do let me know in the comments below. One celebration I wanted to highlight is the Day of the Dead celebrations in Mexico. This multi-day festival coincides with the Christian holiday of All Souls, but it takes on a very distinct identity. Many families build private altars, known as ofrendas, which are decorated with bright fabrics, festive fruits, candles, and photos of loved ones. During this time, families will visit cemeteries and decorate graves of relatives and share stories.
That's crazy. It just looks so weird though. It just looks so like evil. It might be a good thing that they're doing it, but it just looks so evil, bro. I swear.
Of
Evil,
those who have
bro.
passed.
It's evil.
Of course, one of the
I don't
most
know.
iconic symbols of the Day of the Dead celebrations are the painted skulls, or calaveras. Sometimes they take
that
the
looks
form
so
of edible
evil,
sugar
bro.
skulls, made as offerings or treats for children. For a long time now, many believe that the Day of the Dead celebrations have been influenced by pre-Columbian Aztec traditions. You see, indigenous festivals honoring the dead already existed, and so when Christianity
You know, back in the day, if you didn't know, there used to be like sacrifices to the gods and stuff. And I wonder, like during Halloween, like there was no, it was sacrifices and offerings to the gods, like to eat and shit. But the offerings were usually food. So I wonder if Halloween was a specific day that gods wanted sweets, like sweet treats and stuff. Like they want to eat sweet treats that day. And it was like, we're gonna call this shit Halloween or Hallows or whatever. The Hallows. I don't know. You never know.
Arrived, the Festival of All Souls may have blended with local customs, incorporating both Christian and native imagery. One famous example of this is Santa Muerte, or Saint Death, a folk hero who personifies death itself. Christian devotees venerate her for her protection and guidance for the afterlife. Now, some have noted that she resembles the Aztec goddess Mictecacihuatl, who presided over the underworld and festivals for the dead. For centuries, devotion to Santa Muerte was restricted by the church. Today, however, she has become a beloved symbol of the Mexican holiday. Today, Halloween is a lively festival with rich origins influenced by Christian and non-Christian traditions. Yet, given the presence of witches, devils, and ghosts, many Christians have actually turned away from the holiday, and some call it to be banned. After all, the Bible's Old Testament contains warnings about adopting pagan practices, and in the New Testament, there are admonitions against traditions seen as, well, demonic.
I mean, you would think that if that was true, I wouldn't think that people back in the day wouldn't people back in the day wouldn't be celebrating it because they had the Bible too. A lot of them had the Bible just like we had the Bible. Older versions though, but I guess they didn't see nothing wrong with it. But now it seems like something is wrong with it, probably because of the way they celebrate it now, like with scary costumes, like evil people costumes and stuff. Like it's different now.
For some,
Definitely
dressing up
different.
as witches
Not the
or even
same.
celebrating Halloween feels too occult to be truly Christian. As a result, there are some who have tried to reclaim the event and return it to its original message of venerating the saints. Known as Holyween, children are encouraged to dress up as their favourite saint. Now, while this might seem like a tame option, Christianity has no shortage of truly frightening saintly costumes, like Saint Bartholomew, who is often depicted wearing his own flayed skin, or Saint Denis, who carried his own severed head in his hands. Actually, come to think of it, a fully Christian Holyween might actually be scarier than Halloween itself. Whether
Wait. Okay, he was definitely not holding his own head because his head was definitely cut off, and then he was holding his head like this. It ain't like he had his own head, and had a fake head in his hand. And the dude wearing the skin was kind of creepy, bro.
or not you celebrate Halloween is up to you, but my 2 cents is it's simply a night of good fun. Rather than celebrating anything demonic, Halloween is an excuse to meet up with friends, enjoy apple bobbing and bonfires, and to embrace the changing of the seasons. This autumn transition holds deep significance across many cultures, the time when nature begins to wind down and the long nights of winter begin to creep in. This holiday marks the moment we venture into the dark half of the year. Even though Halloween has Christian roots, it can't escape the deeper connection to nature, whose rhythms have shaped human rituals for thousands of years. Whatever you get up to, I wish you a very happy and spooky Halloween.
What I got from this is Halloween is definitely like something for spirits or God, some godly beings that they were celebrating. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it was for God himself. I think it was more for like a spirit or gods with a lowercase g. You know what I'm saying? Like Zeus and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Anunnaki, Zeus, Horus, all these other people. Like, I think it was more for like other beings. You know what I'm saying? And they was trick or treating, giving them sweets. That's what I got. That's why I think they would think it was actually for, and it ended up turning into like a Christian thing afterwards. Because Christians usually got their stuff from the gods that were before them, like the Egyptians and stuff. All they stuff kind of be like similar to what they had in certain ways. Like it's like Christians and the Muslims got a lot of their stuff from Egypt, if you know what I mean, and the Greeks and stuff. You know what I mean, the old Greeks, Zeus and all them. You know what I mean. So it's like I don't know, man. I don't think we should be celebrating Halloween, but I'ma still try to like. I ain't gonna celebrate Halloween this year, which is today. Once you see this video, will be posted on Halloween Day. I'm not gonna be putting on no costume, doing all this extra stuff. I'll be chilling. You feel me? I ain't doing nothing this Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like I want to, ain't like I don't want to. Just like, bro, it's like I'd rather low key just be outside of my own house, giving out treats. You feel me? Simple as that. You feel me? And give me some little drink on, probably some Dawn. You know what I'm saying? Put me on a mask and scare motherfuckers. That's what I want to do, bro. Like I don't want to be the one walking out, going to parties, Halloween parties and shit. Like I want to be scaring motherfuckers. I don't care about no damn Halloween party, nigga. Trying to put fear in some motherfuckers, some little kids. But it's your boy TWEEZY. This shit is too easy, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, follow all my socials. You feel me? Right above me, you see it, and we out of here.